Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool and welcome back to Pathfinder Kingmaker. We find ourselves at Oleg's trading post where we've just fought off a bandit camp. And now it's time to head down and talk to Oleg, Svetlana, and our companions. Get a bit more lore. Hi Lindsay. Halfling girl with tousled hair, wearing a dusty traveler's outfit, sits chewing the tip of her quill. Just a moment, how should I put this? Oh, I know. She scribbles something quickly in a notebook, scrawled with verse, raises her eyes and gives you a bright smile. Oh, hi. Tell me about yourself. What do you want to know? Where are you from? I'm from all over, haha. I was actually born in Galt, in such a tiny village that it's not even on the maps. If it weren't for my teacher, I'd still be living there, milking goats, weeding turnips, swilling homebrew, having babies, using books only as kindling. So Galt is a nation of freethinkers and radicals renowned for brilliant poets, artists, and philosophers whose ideas shape the politics of the whole of Avestan. Galt was once a vassal nation of Cheliax. After the death of Eredin and the rise of House Thrune in Cheliax, the people of Galt decided to throw off their foreign rulers along with their own nobles who had colluded with them. The executions did not end the bloodshed, and within 5 years, the severed heads of the minister of the first government rolled down the steps of the guillotine. In the 40 years since, over a dozen governments have ruled Galt, rising and falling like waves of a stormy sea. Wow, that sounds like a terrible place to try and rule. They just don't want to be ruled, it seems like. Who was your teacher? He's a true saint. He was once an important person in the capital at the Church of Shellen, but he got in trouble with the authorities and went on a self-imposed exile to the tiniest, most godforsaken, priestless village he could find, the one where I was born. He wanted to open a school, but the villagers wouldn't let him. You can heal us all you like, but no putting any ideas into our children's heads. It'll only distract them from their work. But he did teach me on the sly. He taught me how to read, he taught me how to write, he gave me books, poems, legends. He was the one who told me about the Archknights of Avestan, and when I told him I was going on a journey, he gave a magic ring so that Shellen would protect me from harm. Avestan is a continent on the world of Golarion, one of the most heavily settled areas on the planet. Avestan processes as many varied cultures and environments as any other continent in the world, and in ancient history stretching back tens of thousands of years, Brevoy, the River Kingdoms of Numeria, and the Stolen Lands are all situated on Avestan. Okay, so that's the continent that we are on. I haven't seen him since I ran away from home. I hope he's alright. I ask Shellen every day to grant him a long life and new students. Archknights of Avestan, who are they? Oh, you haven't heard of them? How can you be a heroine without knowing one of the most epic stories in the history of stories? No wait, I won't spoil anything. You should just read about them yourself, every single chapter. Their adventures are what gave me the idea of going on a heroic quest and writing about it to begin with. And now look at me, here I am, on a heroic quest. And how did you become a bard? When I realized there was nothing for me at home besides more radish patches, I decided to run away. A traveling book peddler, Tessie the Quill, happened across our village. Well, I stuck to her like a burr, and wouldn't let go until she agreed to take me as an apprentice. Together we traveled everywhere, to Brevoy and Taldor, and even Ustalov. And then I found out about the Academy of Grand Arts in Patax, and I thought, well, I love reading stories, so I can surely learn to write them too. I enrolled on my first try, and they even gave me a scholarship. Then they expelled me, but that's okay. They'd already taught me all the important stuff, and now with Shellen's help, I can manage on my own. Alright, we've read Brevoy. I don't know about Taldor. The mighty empire of Taldor once stretched from the Arcadia Ocean to the border of the Padishah Empire of Kilesh. Eredin himself was said to walk among the people of Taldor, and his religion, a shining beacon unto the world, radiated outward from Taldor, gilded capital of Opara. Taldor's ancient armies of exploration established footholds for the empire throughout Golarion, and its mighty phalanxes marched for thousands of miles during the Shining Crusade to beat back the Whispering Tyrant. Now Taldor is a stunted remnant of its old glory, having lost control of its daughter territories, and is almost ignored by the powerful countries of today, which assume it will continue its slow decline for at least another century. Ancient power now gone. Got it. And Ustalov, the immortal principality of Ustalov, is a fog-shrouded nation of countless horrors and a once proud realm that suffered under the clawed hands of the Whispering Tyrant for centuries. That's who, Eredin was fighting, was the Whispering Tyrant. In the Academy of Grand Arts, while not as popular as some of the great bardic schools of the Inner Sea, Pitax's Academy of Grand Arts still manages to attract some students seeking greater specialization. So do you worship Shellen? Yes, not to offend the other gods, but she's the most important of them all. All the other gods guard the world as it is, but only the Eternal Rose, the goddess of beauty, calls the world as it should be. Why are your clothes so messy? That seems kind of rude. Lindsay waves her hand carelessly. Forget it. I can't waste money on looks. I'd rather buy books instead. In 100 years, when people are reading my works, they aren't going to ask whether the author had holes in her sleeves. Certainly know people with that opinion on owning books. Let me ask you something else. You come from Pitax, right? Tell me about it. Oh, I love Pitax, even though they kicked me out. A joyful place. What is life in Pitax like? Actually, Pitax has always been one huge nest of thieves. Bandits, river pirates, smugglers, fences, card sharps. It's always been a home for the likes of them, but that was before Irovetti became king. With him, a whole different life began there. Irovetti always wanted to make history, but not as another bandit with a crown. Though that's exactly what he is. He wanted to be glorified through the centuries as a great patron of the arts, so he built the Academy of Grand Arts and spent lots of gold to assemble the best artists, poets, and musicians. Of course, the very best ones refused to go, but he got what he wanted in a way. If Pitax was once just a booze barn for thieves, now it's a cabaret. And what do you know of King Irovetti? He won his crown in a game of cards, which says as much about Pitax as it does about him. He's fiendishly clever. Some cheats, I know, told me that from the moment he appeared, he started pulling off such schemes that the old city masters just scratched their head. With him in charge, gold flowed into Pitax. And also, he's incredibly, unimaginably, fantastically decadent and conceited. Getting drunk with whores at the pub, that's not Lord Irovetti's style. Oh no, he aims higher, dressing up like a male Calistria with a golden codpiece and holding a 3-week orgy with dancing on the rooftops, parades, public executions, and a contest for the best ode to the great unrivaled king. That's more like it. Right, Calistria was Tartuccio's god. He also likes singing, and he orders his guards to make the citizens gather for his shows. May Shaylin have mercy on his listeners. Tell me about the academy you studied at. You know, jokes aside, I'm thankful to Irovetti for building it, but he has no taste at all, whatsoever. He likes his art loud, bright, grandiose, and most importantly, glorifying his royal highness. He kicked out the best charcoal artist because he didn't wish to spend money on gray scribbles. He sacked a master flute player from Tianjia for playing too quietly, and instead ordered them to open a kettledrum class. He even ordered the academy to expel me. For what? An innocent limerick? Would you like to go back to the academy and finish your studies? I'd like to return, but on one condition. If they throw out 3/4 of the professors who teach there now, and returned all the ones they banished. If you ask me, I'm proud to have been expelled. If my art was to Irovetti's liking, then I would have reason to be ashamed. As long as mediocre lickspittles sit in the academy, those with real talent beg on the streets of Pitax, I will not cross the threshold of that place. Let's ask you something else. Of course, please ask. I'd be happy to chat all day. Tell me about that book you're writing. What's there to tell? You've seen some of the rough drafts already, haven't you? It's a book about you and your adventures. I'm writing the whole truth, just as it happened. Well, the whole artistic truth. You know, no glory, no story. Why are you writing it? What's the point? When I was at the academy, Eobald the Insightful began his literature course with the question, what is a person? And he answered, a person is a storytelling animal. Our world does not consist of things. All these woods, seas, and cities, it consists of stories of those things. The stories we tell to ourselves and to each other. Just think about it. Centuries will pass, and there will be no me and no you. All your subjects will be long gone, but you and I will live on in people's memories and influence their deeds thanks to this very book. No offense, but your command of language is not that good. I'm not going to say that. I don't know her well enough to know if that's true or not. Your book is full of inconsistencies. I doubt her book is very long at this point. What kind of character am I? Truth be told, I was a little afraid of meeting a real hero. In books, they're all protectors of the weak and poor. But what about in real life? But you ease my fears with 2 shakes of a tail. You're a true heroine, just like in the legends. My new fear is that in 100 years, my readers will say that people like you never existed. But I'm writing the truth. You're like a force of nature, wild and unpredictable. You're full of surprises. I doubt I could make up a protagonist like you, even if I tried very hard. So that's probably because we are chaotic. rather than being lawful. So the true heroine is probably because I'm good, and that's chaotic. I'm guessing. How do you feel about me reading your work in progress? Well, these are only drafts, but of course you're welcome to read them. Just keep in mind that even if you don't like what I write about, I won't change a single letter, so don't even ask. Of course, it's a book about you, but it's my book, understand? The small writer's eyes glow rebelliously. Lawful good, as long as you write the truth, I have no objection. Chaotic good, write whatever you wish. I doubt you would defame me, or for that matter, overpraise. Lawful neutral, write whatever you wish. It's your right, but I shall decide if your book is allowed on my lands. Ha! True neutral, I will be remembered for my deeds, not for your book. Chaotic neutral, I have no interest in censorship. Any stories about me are welcome as long as they're interesting. Lawful evil, I'd rather have a say in how my biography turns out. Or chaotic evil, of course, you can write whatever you want, but you know what happens to writers who displease their rulers. Or whatever you wish, I doubt you would defame me, or for that matter, overpraise. Thank you for your trust. I will not set out to please you, of course, but I still hope you'll like my book as much as other readers. Let me ask you something else. Tell me about your friendship with Tessie the Quill. What's there to say? The books woke my urge to travel, but it was only thanks to Tessie that I managed to really get out of my village. At first, Tessie tried in vain to get rid of me, but later, when I told her I was staying in Patax, she even shed a tear. I wonder where she is now. What's the deal with the ring you always wear on your finger? That's the one we know has magic to send her somewhere safe if she's in trouble. Ah, this. Lindsay holds up her arm for you to get a clear view of the ring. It was a gift to me from my first teacher. It's magical, imbued by the powers of Shaylin, no less. When I get myself in trouble, it transports me to a safe spot. So please don't be angry with me if I suddenly disappear from a fight. I'll wait for you here, promise. Leave and do not return. I don't ever want to see you again. No. Lindsay's great. I have to go. Just don't leave without me. Of course, I could just write whatever you tell me, but if I wanted to stay cooped up in a dusty room, I'd still be sleeping through lectures at the academy. Noriel Eight Eyes, who are you? The elf looks straight at you through the tangled hair falling over her face. Hey, you're an adventurer, right? Seeking your fortunes in the stolen lands? You aren't the only one of your kind here. Take my advice. Keep your eyes open and watch your back. Sometimes the ones who call themselves your friends are more dangerous than your enemies. Judging by the elf's voice, it's obvious that she started the day with a jug of wine. Who are you? The elf grunts. Noriel Eight Eyes. Once upon a time, I was famous throughout Absalom. Noriel Eight Eyes, or the Reckless Six. Well, glory passes quickly. A few miserable decades later, and no one recognizes you on the street anymore. What a shame. What are you doing here? I sit here waiting for adventurers who are in need of help. We may be sitting here in a backwoods tavern, but in Absalom, I have a lot of friends who are eager to make a few coins. They have brave hearts but shallow pockets. A little gold would be a welcome change for them. I can send them a message, and they will come from Absalom through a portal. If you're interested, just give me a sign, and we'll arrange everything right away. Also, I can summon tutors from the Pathfinder Society who can retrain you and your companions. They're quite willing to do this for free the first 3 times you request their services. After that, the price for retraining gradually increases. Such is their way of doing business with all new clients. So yeah, she is able to get us new companions, but they're not story companions with lore and quests and whatnot, as well as retraining us if we want to respec if we built our character wrong. The Pathfinder Society is a globe-spanning organization based out of Absalom. The membership consists primarily of Pathfinders, adventurers who travel throughout Golarion, usually inconspicuously, and explore, delve, and otherwise experience the lesser-seen parts of the world. They send journals documenting their travels back to their venture captains, who also assign them new missions and suggest new places to explore. The most exciting and illuminating of these journals are compiled in the Pathfinder Chronicles, an ongoing series of books that collects the history and mystery of Golarion for its membership and the general public. So I don't need loyal and experienced fighters, and I don't need tutors. Why are you called Eight Eyes? Once long ago, I could spot an enemy and pin him to a wall before he could even think of attacking. Some said I had 8 eyes and looked all around at once, though it seems I've outlived my nickname. Honoriel stretches her arm forward. Her palm trembles noticeably. I've been drinking so much lately. It's best I don't test my skills too often. Where were you when the trading post was attacked? I was hunting. Got a little lost in the mist, which is the first time that's happened to me. I guess I should go easier on the drink, but don't you imagine I'd be scared of a good fight. If only I'd known I was missing all the action, but I see you've got everything under control. Would you like to join me? Since you don't have a portrait, I'm guessing that's a no. No. I've got enough things to do already. You better manage on your own. Famous Pathfinder here in the middle of nowhere? Why? You want to know how one could exchange the life of a Pathfinder for this sour and drunken rat hole? The light in Noriel's eyes go out, as if someone has blown out a candle. You lose all your friends because of one scumbag, and then you'll understand. I was the only one to return from the final campaign to the Reckless Six, and whatever is left of me can't be called a seeker anymore. Noriel remains silent for a long time, as if wondering if she wishes to poke the old wound. Here's the story. Our leader Vermelt was the best of us, wise, brave, friends with everyone. One of those friends, Adivion Adresant, sent him a disturbing letter. He'd stumbled upon mention of some ancient books on the art of necromancy. Secrets like those are best left hidden forever. Trust me, I've seen what that kind of magic can do. The elf bites her lip. To make a long story short, these volumes were supposedly hidden in the catacombs of Gallowspire. We decided that the books should be retrieved and kept safe by the Society. We gathered in a tavern, discussed the expedition, then proceeded to Ustalov. It was a normal mission. Quick and quiet recovery. Honoriel smiles bitterly. But everything turned out to be much more complicated. We barely made it through the Witchgate Forest. All those terrible living trees, undead druids, and their arches of bone. It was a miracle we managed to make it out alive. We'd chosen Wren Church to stop at. It was marked on Vermelt's map as a safe enough haven to hole up in and lick our wounds. How I wish that to be true. Vermelt was the first to perish. He was attacked by one of the monsters hiding in the stables. It tossed him about like a feather and threw him down an ancient well. His shout echoed for a long time. I didn't hear the sound of him landing, and then Noriel pauses and turns away, hiding her eyes. Enough. I shouldn't have gotten into this. Who am I to stir up others' feelings with all my chatter? We'd better forget about it for now. Maybe I'll tell you more some other time, but not today. Can you tell me more about the Pathfinder Society? What exactly are you interested in? What's the purpose of the Society? It's a school of adventurers. We search for those who are eager to test their skills, and we educate them and give them ideas about where on Golarion they might seek their fortune. They look for forgotten knowledge, secrets, and lost artifacts. They are explorers and pathfinders. We're sort of mutual assistance club for adventurer lovers. We exchange experience, share knowledge, and keep careful records in case it proves useful to future expeditions. And also, we publish books for thrill seekers and bored urban teenagers from wealthy families. What kind of members does the society have? All sorts of adventurers. We have representatives from all races, religions, and beliefs. The Grand Lodge is in Absalom, but there are many smaller lodges throughout Golarion, and the Venture Captain direct pathfinders to their goals from across all the corners of the world. There are many renowned heroes in the society, and many scoundrels as well, whose service in the society has brought them fame. And who does the society support? You mean, who does it serve? No one in particular. Pathfinders try not to get involved in the quarrel of others. They serve only the spirit of adventure, and sometimes they happen to save the world. However, that doesn't mean there are no black sheep among the Seekers. Alright, we'll talk about this later. Regarding your story, which you've already told me you don't want to talk about, remind me of your last campaign of the Reckless Six. What happened in Wrenchurch? I have no wish to fill your sleep with nightmares. When you prove that you can stand firm in battle, that you can achieve victory without losing yourself along the way, then I'll tell you of the horrors that waited for us in Wrenchurch. Alright, let's talk about something else. I have to go. Svetlana, good day. I hope you're feeling better feeling alright after that battle. I can't thank you enough for what you've done. I definitely don't want to waste your time, but if you have a moment, I have a request. What do you want to ask me? Svetlana lowers her head. This is a very personal request and maybe not important enough for your time. I'll completely understand if you say no, but the first time the Staglord's thugs came here demanding money, they also took my wedding ring, just tore it off my hand. It's just a trinket really, but it meant so much to me. I remember every moment of the day Oleg came to me, that ring in hand, to ask if I'd marry him. I was standing in a fancy dress on the stairs of my father's home, fearing that I'd misheard something, or that I'd say something stupid and everyone around would laugh. Svetlana interrupts herself, shaking her head gently. If you happen to find my ring among the bandits' possessions, please bring it back to me. It's easy to recognize. My name is engraved inside the band. Svetlana drops her eyes, lowering her voice. There is one other thing. Among the bandits, there's a dark-haired woman who wields dual axes. She's not bad in a fight. In fact, she can be extremely dangerous and cruel. But please, I beg you, show her mercy if you have the chance. A cruel and dangerous bandit. Show her mercy. Be happy to help. Can't promise anything, but if I do come across your ring, I'll return it to you. I'd be happy to help, Svetlana. Svetlana nods. I'm so grateful for your help. Tell me about yourself. How did you and your husband find the courage to establish a trading post in the Stolen Lands? It was Oleg's idea. Though I supported him in it, we didn't realize how dangerous it was. Here, of course. In Restov, everyone respects the Sword Lords, and everyone's accustomed to relying on them. Even the mention of someone like Lady Jamandi could be enough to fend off a street thug or some other trouble. It could maybe even work in some places here, but not with the Stag Lord's men. And what can you tell me about the Stag Lord? He's not just some average bandit. If no one puts a stop to him, he'll turn the Stolen Lands into his personal kingdom, a kingdom of fear and oppression. Lawful good, it would be a kingdom of lawlessness. Once I've dealt with the Stag Lord, your life will improve. Chaotic good, I like adventures, but I definitely prefer the ones that involve stopping villains and helping people. So, chaotic good isn't necessarily... Like, I was fearing chaotic would be, we'd be too much of a bandit ourselves, but I guess the good is enough that it's just, we are wanting wild adventures, but still good, we want to help people, but we're in it just for the thrill, which I think I can get behind. I guess, yeah, chaotic bandits would be leaning more towards evil. That makes sense. Lawful evil. Fear always follows power. It would be naive to think the Stag Lord is so much different from any other ruler. Or chaotic evil. In life, you either inspire fear or cower from it. I prefer to be one who's feared. I like adventures, and I definitely prefer the ones that involve stopping villains and helping people. I can't thank you enough for the help you've given me, but please, be careful. The Stag Lord is extremely dangerous. I have to go. Farewell. I think that's everything in here. So we've got a quest to recover Svetlana's wedding ring. And also, if we find a specific bandit, show her mercy. Greetings. Oleg seems to be in a good mood and greets you warmly. You certainly ruffled those villains' feathers. Well, anyway, new day, new troubles. Have you seen the fog? Never seen anything like it before. The road to Restov looks like someone spilled milk and it just hung in the air. I couldn't see anything through that soup, not even with a torch. Feels like witchcraft to me. I bet the Stag Lord's involved somehow. Rumors say he has all kinds of bad magic. Tell me about yourself. Why open a trading post in such a dangerous place? I just dislike the noise. Oleg answers reluctantly. I'm from Restov. Cities are complicated. Lots of people, and each with their place on the shelf. Bow before this one, fear this other. Don't do business with the third, but be sure to be extra nice to the fourth, and villages are little better. Everyone likes to stick their noses into each other's business. I just wanted a place where I could be my own master, and so I ended up here. I need to take care of the Stag Lord. Do you know anything that can help me find him? That's quite a task you set for yourself. The Stag Lord has a fortress somewhere in the area, but only a few chosen from the most trusted of his rabble are ever invited. The location of the fortress is a heavily guarded secret, and with this fog hanging around, I'd imagine it would be even harder to find. I suppose you could try to follow the trail of those bandits who attacked the post before. They came from southwest, from the side of Thorn River, which I think is where the Guardian of the Bloom told us to go. Thorn River meanders through the northern parts of the Gnarl Marches. Slow, fetid, and teeming with life, the muddy waters flow sluggishly through flooded lands and dense thickets. The locals dare not drink from the Thorn River, and not just because of the filth of the stench. Ravenous beasts lurk in the murky depths, lying in wait and ready at any time to pull their prey from solid ground down to the bottom of the river. What can you tell me about the Stag Lord? Not much. Not like I've sat down and shared a cup of wine with the man, you know? But I think he arrived in the Stolen Lands less than a year ago, from what I've heard. Okay, so he's pretty new. But soon as he got here, he took over everything. I wrote to Restov, tried to warn them that the Stag Lord wasn't some typical gang leader, but they didn't listen. The rumors about him are horrible. He'll kill a person if they so much as disagree with him. He never reveals his face. Those who've seen him up close report the same thing. Ugly scars cover every inch of his skin, not covered by his clothes. Staglord's past is a mystery. He just arrived one day. He was immediately a power to be reckoned with. I guess the most surprising thing about him is that he has as many followers who admire him as he has minions who obey him out of fear. He's got some inner strength in him, or maybe an inner madness. There are many who seem to follow him because of that madness, like it was some kind of virtue. Alright, let's see your wares, because I picked up some stuff off of the bandits that we killed. And a thought comes to mind. Do you have a bastard sword? Because that is what Amiri is trained for, but she's currently using a absurdly large one. 400 gold. Ugh. So I'm betting she's taking penalties using the one she's got. I'll think on that. For now, we'll just sell all this random goods. Yeah, so Amiri has ginormous sword. It's a large bastard sword. It's a +1 oversized bastard sword. Okay, so she is getting a +1 bonus because of its magic. So she's taking a -2 because it's ginormous, but it gets a +1 because it's a +1 weapon. So overall, it's just a -1. If I got her, say, a masterwork, she'd go up from a +4 to a +5. But lose a ton of the damage. So I probably will leave her with that. It's not that big of a difference. Bakken puts his hands on his hips. Ha! Old Bakken still knows a few tricks to impress these blood-sucking dummies. Enough hiding in the damn bushes, I say. Can I help you in any way? Bakken glances at you, suddenly interested. Well, since you're asking, there's a cave nearby. I used to pick berries there. But the place has been overrun by spiders. The berries are red, look a lot like raspberries. Fangberries, I call them. I'd be real grateful if you gathered a basket of them and brought them back. Just be quick if you do, they spoil quickly. They're spoiling mechanics? Alright. Those spiders in the cave are mean. Here, let me get you some alchemist fire. Crafted it myself. Burn those spiders to a crisp. That will teach them for taking over my Fangberry cave. I also need a bucket of boon radishes. They're a rare and mysterious plant. I don't know where to find them, but I know that the kobolds gather them and value them highly. It's not a huge deal, really. I'd do it myself if I were younger. But if you're willing, I'll pay you 3 potions for the berries and a purse full of coins for the radishes. Why do you need the fangberries and moon radishes, Bakken? You want to know, huh? Well, I'll gladly tell you after you bring some to me. Alright, I'll try to help. Bakken glances at you hopefully. Just watch out, alright? Don't end up someone's lunch. Remind me what you do here. What's there to tell? I'm an herbalist. Make potions and sell them. Gather herbs, roots, berries. I live in the forest. Okay, we read all that before. Do you have anything of interest? So you've got a bunch of potions. Transmutations and bodily poisons. Alright, Aram, what's your story? Aram pulls at his beard, muttering something that could be either prayers or curses. Upon noticing you, he winces. What? Ah, it's you, Melandra. Did I startle you? I'm sorry. Oh no, that doesn't matter. I was just contemplating the futility of existence and the worthlessness of the universe. The ways of Grotus are great. My humble mortal mind cannot fully grasp them, but I do what I can. Aram smiles apologetically. Can you tell me about your past? My life is divided into 2 parts. The first was filled with blind wandering, doubts, and attempts to serve Torag. The second part began when I accepted Grotus into my soul and received a clear vision of the world. What exactly would you like to know? So Torag, also known as the Father of Creation, is a stoic and serious dwarven god of the forge, protection, and strategy, who values honor, planning, and well-made steel. He is often a distant deity, lending magical power to his clerics, but leaving his followers to make their own way through life, knowing that this will make them strong and determined. Where are you from? My life began in Larad, a city of the dwarves, of dwarven clerics and acolytes. They served Torag and the other dwarven gods, Torag's brothers, Angorad and Magrim, Torag's wife, Fulgrit, his daughter, Bolka, his sons, Grundinar, Coles, and Trud, And also Torag's sister, Dangbit. Harem curves his lips in contempt. I wouldn't be surprised if they built a temple to Torag's pet dog. Sorry, I let myself get carried away. Harem sighs as he pulls his beard several times. Lorad is the second largest dwarven city in the King's Mountain. It's built up around numerous temple caverns, which serve as places of worship for all the dwarven gods. Many pilgrims from every corner of Golarion come to Lorad and pray to the gods. Some remain to live there. The Five Kings Mountains are tall and imposing peaks, rich with ore and iron bloom mushrooms. Heavily populated by the dwarves, they are the largest center of dwarven culture on or beneath Golarion. Highhelm, the largest dwarven city on Golarion, is located under one of its peaks. The city is simply imbued with faith. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting a cleric. It's no surprise, inspired by the aura of the city, that I decided as a young boy to dedicate all my efforts to becoming a cleric of Torag. You once tried to serve Torag? Not just tried, it was a burning passion. I craved it by day and dreamt of it at night. Harem shakes his head, as if amazed by his own stupidity. You see, Melandra, from my first days, I felt the presence of the god at my back. I heard his whispers and felt his power, though the nature of this power was unclear to me. I thought Torag himself was trying to speak to me, and I did all I could to understand his words. Oh, what a naive fool I was. I had no idea that Torag was an uncompromising, conceited god glamorized by all the dwarves, was capable of betrayal. He turned away from me, Melandra. He left me in the hour when I put all my hopes in him and desperately needed his support. Torag is the god of craftsmanship, so every follower, especially the clerics, must smith their own suit of armor. The day when this work is finished is like a second birthday for a dwarf. He's newly born in the eyes of Torag. Harem sighs heavily and falls silent for a time. My second birthday never came. I couldn't make armor, not even a sword, not even a simple nail. My hammer smashed my fingers and fell on my feet. Molten iron burned my hands. The clerics laughed as they healed me. They used to say I was cursed by Torag, so finally I gave up any attempt to please the betrayer god. Even if Torag has rejected you, is that enough reason to leave your homeland? You don't know much about dwarves. Harem lets out a sad sigh. How can a dwarf cursed by Torag go on living in a city where every single soul bows to Torag? I was alone, disgraced, humiliated, insulted. A lone tear glints in the light before sliding down Harem's cheek, hiding in his beard. I was trying to drown my sorrows in drink, but even the owner of the cheapest pub on the road would laugh at me when he put those mugs in front of me. I couldn't take it any longer. I wanted everything to end. But there was one thing that kept me going, and prevented me from ending my life. I could still hear that divine whisper behind my back. It was yet faint. It took a long time before I could hear it clearly, but having heard it once, I could never forget it. It was clear that none of Lorad's deities favored me, so I left the Five Kings Mountains and went out searching. I didn't think dwarves ever worshipped Grotus. How did you learn about him? Oh, but that blessed day became the beginning of a new life. Alone and abandoned by all, I spent many dull hours in a filthy tavern by the roadside. I don't recall the town, nor even the country. I had no money. In fact, all I had was a hunk of stale bread. I was weary and almost fainting from hunger. And that was the moment when the whisper from my god became more clear. It was like he was calling me. At last, my sufferings had come to an end. It was a miracle, Melandra, and I had paid full price for it with my torments. I couldn't control myself. I walked out of the tavern and straight into the nearest forest, and there I found the ruined temple of Eredin, the lost god. Several figures clad in robes were holding a silent service there, a service to a god I knew nothing of. None minded when I stood beside them. For the first time in my life, I felt myself at home. My new brothers told me they were clerics of Grotus, the god of end times. They were traveling around Golarion spreading the teachings of Grotus, despite all the persecution, contempt, and misjudgment they received from others. I gladly shared this burden with them, for now I knew whose voice had whispered to me through all those years. Wait, so you couldn't make even a simple nail and you blamed Torag? Are you suggesting that my problem was not a curse, but my own inability to work with metal? Or maybe you're saying that I was just too lazy? Harem looks into your eyes defiantly, his hands trembling with suppressed rage as he runs his fingers over his beard. You're a fool if you think so, an ignorant fool. Have you ever met a dwarf who can't handle a smith's hammer? Even our children craft knives. No, Torag is the cause of my suffering. The betrayer god deliberately cursed me, just to make me a laughingstock of me. Harem raises his hand and shakes his fist at someone above. But I won't let myself, to get angry at you, Melandra. You're an ignorant and blind soul, and my aim is to guide you through this dying world that marches towards its end. I will open your eyes, or die trying. Grotus will be pleased by either outcome. Alright, let's talk about something else. I'd like to learn more about dwarves. Most dwarves are self-satisfied, stubborn fools serving Torag. They don't deserve any good attitude, Harem winces, but you can ask what you want to know. I'll try to answer. You definitely have a very skewed perspective, and we'll have to keep that in mind. Tell me about the Five Kings Mountains. The Dwarven Kingdom, yes. Well, it's to the south from here. It's survived many trials, and there will be more yet to come. Harem strokes his beard, contemplating. There is no unity among the dwarves, Melandra. The Five Kings rule over our people. They sit on the thrones of the 5 greatest cities, and with every passing day, it grows harder for them to come to any agreement. The only thing uniting the Five Kings Mountains is the Sky Citadel of Highhelm, the great dwarven fortress at the mountain's heart. Many mighty dwarven fortresses that can be found throughout Avestan and Garund, the first to be built by the stout folk when they emerged onto the surface world during the Age of Darkness. Although 10 citadels were built in total, only a few have survived intact to the present day, and fewer still are held by the dwarves. Have the dwarves always lived on the surface? Oh no, eons ago the dwarves lived deep beneath the surface, and they did rather well, judging by the historic records. They built fortresses befitting noble dwarves, but our restless god Torag sent us a prophecy, the quest for the sky. He ordered all the dwarves to abandon their fortresses and press upward to show their beards to the sun, as they say. Quest for the Sky is an ancient dwarven migration to the surface of Galarian from their original homes in the Darklands. Their god, Torag, had given them a prophecy when the ground shook beneath their feet. They must press upward to the surface. They took the massive tremors caused by Earthfall in -5293 AR as this sign and began their journey towards the surface, finally emerging there in 4987 AR. It took you 10,000 years to get to the surface? That is some quest. This journey was long and bloody. Many dwarves perished on the way. Others turned back, keeping to their ancient strongholds, eventually to turn into evil Dwargar, Grey Dwarves. But those who survived reached the surface and founded the Sky Citadels, the most glorious cities in dwarven history. Tell me about the Sky Citadels. Oh, they are the peaks of creation. Glorious cities built by the ancient dwarves who'd finally reached the surface after many hardships, performing the final labor in their quest for the sky on the surface of Galarian. Harem's eyes glitter with admiration. They are steadfast, tall, magnificent. They are beautiful. Oh, the negative sign. I didn't see it on the right side. Okay, cool. So -5,200 to -4,900. It's poorly placed how this is laid out, but yes. So that means it was more like 300 years-ish. That's a lot more reasonable. The 10 citadels were built by dwarves, but we've managed to keep only a few. The citadels crumbled and the orcs, sworn enemies of our people, trampled their blessed streets and ruined the gorgeous palaces of my ancient kings, or of the ancient kings. Aram's eyes grow misty with tears. These were heavy losses, and a disgrace to our people, Melandra. Highhelm is the jewel of the citadels that remains. It is located in the heart of the mountains, and the heart of every dwarf. Yes, yes, my heart too. There's a dwarven saying that if an enemy reaches Highhelm, every dwarf from all corners of the world will come to defend it. Aram casts a sad glance at you. I'd be there too, but not to help the citadel's defenders. I'd be there to witness the fall of our people with my own eyes, and mourn it. I would fall upon the cold stone and raise my final prayers to Grotus. I have some other questions. What else would you like me to tell you, Melandra? I'd like you to tell me about your god Grotus. You wish to learn about Grotus? Aram seems surprised and pleased at the same time. Yes, of course. I will answer anything you ask. What are Grotus' teachings in a nutshell? Grotus is the end of all that exists. Aram smiles. He's obviously been waiting for this question. Look around you, Melandra. What do you see? Look again and realize that everything will be destroyed. Our clothing, our armor will turn to dust. The walls of the palaces will crumble into ruins. The trees will fall, and you and I will die much sooner than that. Grotus is a timeless watcher. He's been locked away by Pharasma, the goddess of rebirth. From her boneyard, he watches over the world, knowing the time for the final reaping shall come. He's the bloated moon hanging in the sky. He's the harbinger of the last days. He's the one who will stay when all others are gone. Pharasma has Grotus locked in her boneyard. So she's stronger than Grotus? Of course she's stronger, for now. Aram nods with dignity, stroking his beard. Grotus is weaker than Plasma, and many other gods. I would be a fool if I tried to claim otherwise. If Grotus were stronger, the end times would have already come, wouldn't they? But the powers of the other gods fade away. They dissolve slowly, a grain in a century. Grotus collects those grains and waits. He doesn't need to hurry. He knows his time shall come. Usually clerics can speak to their gods. What does Grotus say to you? What is his will? Aram shakes his head in resignation. Grotus doesn't speak to his clerics. Actually, Grotus doesn't need any clerics. The dwarf raises his sad eyes to you. He only allows his whispers to be heard, and only by those who are dying to hear them. His words are unclear, but they call to you. His voice comes with the soft rustle of fallen leaves, with the woeful wailing winds at the mountain pass, with the roar of the raging blizzard, and it calls you to strike out on the road, onwards, always onwards, over the pass, over the bridge, and further along, up ahead where the edge of the gray robe flashed and the candle spluttered for the last time before dying. Onwards, always onwards, until your feet can no longer carry you. Aram falls silent, submerged in his own thoughts. Thanks for telling me about Grotus. I've learned enough for now. Then let me ask you, what do you think about Grotus? I like your tales. There's an inner truth to them. It was interesting to learn about him, no more, no less. But to be honest, I don't want to have anything to do with him. I mean, from what it sounds like, it doesn't seem like Grotus is trying to speed along the end times. He's just waiting because his power will grow. And he'll be the most powerful then. So he doesn't need to speed it along. He has infinite time to just wait. If he were an evil god trying to speed up the destruction of the world, I'd be against him. But just patiently waiting for the inevitable end seems fine. It was interesting to learn about him, no more, no less. Or, I like your tales, there's an inner truth to them. Both are decent. I'll be more complimentary. I like your tales, there's an inner truth to them. A broad smile spreads across Aram's face. I'm glad you think like that. We'll bring this truth to the whole world, and tell everyone that the end is inevitable. Have you ever regretted your decision to abandon Torag and start worshipping Grotus instead? Your question might seem offensive, Melandra, but I'm not offended. I realize you ask it because you wish to learn more about Grotus. Aram squeezes his beard in his fist, but in a moment he lets it free again. Torag betrayed me, Melandra. All he's ever done was look down with contempt on all my futile efforts to please him. I crafted armor plates, but they fell apart with a single strike of a fist. I smithed swords, but they broke at the hilt. Torag's priests used to say that such failures were the curse of their uncompromising deity. Aram's fingers grabbed his beard with such force that it seems he'll tear a handful of hair out. It was Grotus who opened my eyes. He showed me that failure is a manifestation of his will. The end time is near, Melandra, and every failure is just another step towards it. Torag's curse is only half the reason for my failure. The other half is a blessing of Grotus, which I have borne from early childhood. Aram smiles warmly at his thoughts. So the short answer to your question is no. I've never regretted opening my soul to Grotus. From what I've heard, Grotus doesn't spare the mind of his clerics. They all go insane eventually. Is that true? Ha! Who told you that? I'd like to look that slanderer in the eye. Aram bursts into laughter, but you can't understand what's so funny. You see, Melandra, sanity is quite a relative concept, Aram says as his laughter recedes. Each of us is certain that he's the sanest creature in the world. Meanwhile, we periodically doubt the sanity of others. So what happens if 2 or 3 people claim that someone else is insane? Does that make it true? Perhaps the accusers have lost their minds themselves. The longer a cleric listens to the whispers of Grotus, the better he comprehends the essence of his designs, and the deeper his understanding becomes. When enlightenment comes, the mind of a cleric ascends to a new level of understanding, which is inaccessible to simpler souls. Is it insanity? This is for you to decide, Melandra. My decision was made long ago. When I reach enlightenment, I'll accept it with joy and delight. Lawful good. Honestly, that's just too much. You're a funny dwarf, and you have your peculiarities, but to go insane voluntarily? You should give up on before it's too late. Chaotic neutral, ha! When you learn Grotus' divine plans, remember to tell me about them. I could always use a good laugh. Or lawful evil. Your eagerness is commendable. When you learn Grotus' divine plans, remember to tell me about them. I could always use a good laugh. Aram seems not to hear the irony in your words. Oh, of course. I will tell you. I will tell everyone. The words of Grotus will lead us forward unto the inevitable. Well, thanks for the conversation. We'll talk later. Aram nods with dignity. I'll be happy to continue our conversation later. Alright. Then we have a Miri. Wait, you guys have another wolf? Dog? It's obviously not mine. Mine's here. We're going to talk? Mary utters a weary sigh. Alright, spill it. I'm listening. We're just talking. You don't like it? Mary shrugs several times, perhaps flexing her muscles, or maybe just filling the silence. Dunno, she admits at last. Depends what we're going to talk about. If it's about monsters, or swords, or scars, I approve. That's good. If you're going to ask questions like why, or what for, or how, screw this. Mary looks it over slowly, head to toe. Or you got even harder ones? Tell me about yourself. The simple question seems to puzzle Mary. She scratches her head, then starts counting on her fingers. First, I'm a barbarian. I'm strong. I grew up in the realm of the Mammoth Lords. I left my tribe, the Six Bears. Mary looks thoughtfully at her fourth bent finger and shrugs. And I like fights, she concludes, bending her thumb. So the realm of megafauna inhabited by humans, almost as savage as the prehistoric beasts surrounding them. The realm of the Mammoth Lords is a land in Avistan's far north that is home to a myriad nomadic tribes of Kelid barbarians. What's it like to be a barbarian in the Six Bears tribe? Ha! Our people are big and strong. We can cut a monster in half with one swing. We can walk 3 days and nights with no rest. We can eat a whole fried Arok. I guess you had to do a lot of training to become as strong as you are. Training? Ha ha! No one freaking trained me. The boys of the Six Bears got the training. All I could do is watch. Mary's eyes gleam with anger. And you know what? They were still crap, even after all that training, because I kicked their butts hard. Animals, bandits, monsters, all thought they were stronger than me. Idiots. Mary spits on the ground. Because if you start a fight, you think you can win. You think you're stronger than your enemy. Mary raised their chin proudly. I defeated them all. See all the scars on my face? What does the realm of the Mammoth Lord look like? Huge and freezing. No place for weaklings. Mary narrows her eyes as if evaluating your ability to survive her homeland. Tribes hunt aurochs herds to survive. Aurochs are fast, so tribes follow herds for days, just to not die of hunger. If you're weak, you stay behind and die in the snow. Tribe cannot stop. Also, there are giants and mammoths. Sometimes demons come too. Ah, and the mastodons, and the saber-toothed tigers. Mary grins. You would survive, I think, for a few days. Ha! Why did you leave your tribe? Mary flushes. Because they were assholes, all of them. Men were cowards and scoundrels, and women were scared like sheep. Mary rolls her bloodshot eyes in fury. Men there think no girl can be a fighter. Because they are weak, they are afraid of a woman can beat them. And females just nod. Go sew hides, cook meat, watch kids. That's what they always say. But I'm a warrior, damn it. I don't cook hides and watch meat. Mary is already shouting, her fists clenched tightly. I told them so. I went hunting with men, and what did I get? Still the same answer. You are woman. You stay home. Even gave me a nickname, the Soft Chieftain. Like a warrior woman was a funny joke. Damn, I even went to hunt those shit-faced frost giants. And there... Mary suddenly stops, breathing heavily and sweat beading on her forehead. After a moment, Mary waves her hand awkwardly and forces herself to grin. So I left. Cowards, scoundrels, and sissies they were. That's why. You're quite a good fighter. Mary jerks her head up. Quite good, huh? Compared to who? If I was a crafty male, I'd fight better. Is that what you say? She glares at you, her eyes narrow. Or you say I could be better, like go get some training, Mary, right? I was just complimenting you. I meant exactly what I said. You're quite a good fighter. Don't raise your voice to me ever again. Chaotic, good. You're good, very good in a fight. You're an excellent warrior. I've just given you a compliment, that's all. See, that's what I'm saying. Or, oh, just relax. Forget I said anything. I've given you a compliment, that's all. For several more seconds, Mary continues to glare at your face with suspicion. Then all of a sudden she mellows. True, I fight good. It's what I do best. You're rather rude, you know. I mean, brutally honest, maybe. I don't know if I'd call that rude. You bet. Mary grins, then suddenly frowns. I'm a fighter, big and strong. Everyone's afraid of me. I can't play the softy. Who would even fear me then? The contemplative expression disappears from Mary's face, replaced by a dreamy grin. I enjoy being feared. When I pass by and all the sissies almost faint, keep knees trembling, teeth chattering, shit dripping down their pants, Mary falls silent, fascinated with the picture her imagination has created. Thanks for telling me. Let's talk about something else. Why not? Mary frowns. but you feel she's glad to change the subject. So why did you leave your tribe? And what's the story with the frost giants? I told you already, they were assholes. They treated women like sheep, not fighters, Mary frowns. As for giants, I'll tell you later, someday, maybe. It's a formidable sword, but it's not just a simple weapon, is it? You bet it's not simple. Check out how big it is. She proudly raises the blade, and you notice that even though Amiri is extremely strong, she still has difficulty wielding such a large sword. This sword belonged to a real blasted frost giant. I killed the beast and took this looker for myself. Fits me perfectly, my damn trophy. Amiri's eyes flash with menace, as if she's challenging some invisible enemy to try taking away her trophy. Alright, well thanks for talking with me. Let's speak again later. Talking. When will we do some monster killing instead? Mary sighs and turns away. Okay, so you guys have a dog that just wasn't here before. So we've talked to Amiri, we've talked to Harem. We've talked to Lindsay. Is that my whole party? Yes. So we've talked to everyone. Then I guess that's that. And next time we will actually set out from here.
Follow if you dare.
So thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you guys then. Bye.